Hello Year 8, welcome to Mr. Chan's videos. So today in science, we will talk about atoms in elements. From last videos, we talk about what elements actually is. Just for a recap, elements is actually made up of one type of atoms. Okay, so that means for oxygen, it will just all oxygen, double oxygen that will make it is an element. So in this video, we actually go a bit further and tell you how there are different types of elements, majorly three types of elements: 1, 2, and 3. But before I go about that, I have to tell you that this section where the way of the atoms are arranged in an element determines many of the properties of the elements. Okay, so what that means is the way elements are arranged depends on what it is. It will actually affect how it behaves, acting like the physical behavior of the elements. For example, solid, liquid, and gas. If an atom is arranged in a certain way, it might become a solid or a liquid or a gas. And also it will affect the melting and boiling points. So melting is how quickly it turns from solid to liquid, and boiling is how easily it turns from liquid to gas. And also it tells you how well the way it arranged will gonna tell you how well it's going to conduct heat and conduct electricity. Okay, so that means how easily it's gonna heat up when you put fire on it, or how easily if you put electricity through it, will it actually go through or not. Okay, that is all depends on how it is arranged. So there are three ways of arrangement here. First, we have the single atoms. So what the single atoms actually is, it is the elements is actually only consists of one single atoms. We call them the monatomic. Okay, so if you look at the three examples down here, we have helium, neon, and argon. Okay, you will notice that literally just consists of that one atoms. So it is actually super rare. It's like a Charizard or Mewtwo in your Pokemon, where there's only 6 of them. There are only 6 of them out of the 92 natural occurring one in the whole universe. The 6 of them are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. These are their short acronyms. Alright, so for helium is H, followed by a small letter E. Neon is capital letter N and E. And then argon is AR, krypton is KR, xenon is ZE, and radon is RN. These can all be found in the periodic table. Alright, if you go to your periodic table, you will find all 6 of these. Remember, your periodic table consists of every single type of element in this world, okay? On universe as well. So the second type is the cluster of atoms. So your elements can actually have a cluster of them. Cluster means like a bunch of them. Okay, it can be 2, for example here, to 8 right here, and to even 60. Alright, we call them the molecule. Okay, We call them the molecule. So they are a cluster of two or more atoms bonded together. Remember, there is a bond between them. There is a little bond between them that you can't technically see right here because I didn't draw it to the exact size and scale. And remember, each of them, they are identical in shape, size, number, and type of atoms. So for example, oxygen here, you have O2. O2 means there are two oxygen atoms joined together. As we know, in our air is full of oxygen, so there are literally so many bazillion amount of O2, around O2 or this oxygen molecule in the air. Alright, another example is your sulfur. Alright, for those who don't know, sulfur is actually really good to scare snakes away. Alright, that's why a volcano area, you never seen any snakes around because snakes are really terrified of sulfur. It's a type of chemical. And the third one is carbon. Alright, so carbon is black in color. So carbon is actually what makes up a lot of things. For example, yourself is made out of majority of carbons and charcoal and etc. A lot of your food actually contain carbon as well, sorry. And carbon has a molecule size of C60. That means there are 60 of them joined together, bonded together. Okay, so it is quite a lot bigger than your sulfur and your oxygen. So that is your molecule, the second. And the third one is the large grid-like structure, which is called lattice. Alright, lattice. So not lettuce, your vegetable is lettuce. Lattice. So there are two types of lattice, which is metallic and non-metallic. Okay, so two of these, one is metallic, as you know, is made out of metal element, and non-metallic means it is made out of non-metal element. Okay, so what grid-like structure is, if have you actually seen like the structure of a house when you first build them before you put brick and stuff in there? On those structure is kind of like the grid-like. So you have a lot of like how do I say, you actually have a lot of kind of like a structure, which I will show in class a real photos of how they actually bonded together, the photos for both metallic and non-metallic lattices. Okay, but what you need to know here is what give metal its property, as in like the physical properties of metal. As we know, metals is pretty hard. Okay, you can bend metal, you can actually make a drawn wire out of it. Okay, the reason why it is because the bond in metallic lattice, they are quite weakly joined together. Okay, they're quite weakly joined together, so it is a lot weaker than you think. When they are weakly joined together, that means each of the molecule, each of the grid-like structure, the atoms in there can be bent and drawn into wire. Okay, that is what give the metallic lattices its physical properties. Okay, so with non-metallic lattice, they are actually a lot stronger than your metallic lattice. They are actually, the atoms are actually very strongly joined together. Okay, that's why they are very hard, but at the same time they are very brittle. All right, these words means easily shattered. So I'll give you an example like um, charcoal or a graphite. All right, if all of us actually have used pencil before, and the black stuff in the middle of the pencil is called graphite. All right, graphite is actually made out of carbon, and this graphite is actually hard, but at the same time it is very brittle. If, as you know, if we write with quite a bit of force onto paper, it can actually shatter the graphite in there. All right, the graphite, it can actually quite we can actually quite easily shatter the graphite, which is our non-metallic lattice. So that this video conclude the three different types of arrangement for elements. Okay, the reason why they're arranged differently is because the way the atoms actually bonded together. So we have single atoms for the first one, and we have molecule for the second one, and the third one we have large grid-like structure, which is called lattice. And in lattice we have metallic and non-metallic. So please write down your notes, and we will actually further discuss this during our coming lessons. Thank you for listening. Peace out. Bye.